Hello again there, friends and fans. Raptor here, and welcome back. It is good to see you here for a major update for what is coming soon to Manor Lords, a game yet to be released on PC, but now we know more about the battle features. Manor Lords, of course, is a medieval city builder and RTS game that is incredibly ambitious and looking fly, I might say so myself. This game looks astonishing with its city building aspects, really similar to Ostriv and Foundation and Anno and many other city builders that you played before, but also with a heavy focus on, as you would imagine, military as well. So again, in this game, you'll be playing as a lord of the manor, who then can send troops to the king and also fight for your kingdom and take command of those troops. One of the most important things in a city builder is how well it plays out and how you work the economy, and one thing that's important to economies, of course, is war as well. Conquer new lands and, of course, conquer your enemies to take over their lands and become more powerful and strong as a leader in Manor Lords. Today, there's now new battle features, so we're going to take a look at that. Just wanted to give a little intro, giving you a little bit of the history of this game and talk a little bit more about, well, first of all, how it looks, which is incredible and crisp, but also the fact that this is made by a very small team. We're going to be taking a look at some rather lower quality Twitter videos that I've gotten from the last few months that just kind of showcase some things, but it is getting me excited for Manor Lords. Let's watch now the trailer for the features, the battle features for Manor Lords, and then we'll break down the trailer as well. Alright, back to some things that I've pulled from Twitter just to show some more extended battles. This is a lot to take in. Now, again, running your own medieval town is not going to be so easy with things like disease and learning production and, of course, making everything from scratch and by hand, but even more importantly is winning those battles. And it's great to see that the real-time strategy aspect has just as much love as the city building aspects, and I would say that perhaps Total War could use a few of these things, especially for smaller scale skirmishes. We haven't really seen too much of the front lines until now, and now with those battle features coming, that is going to look good. We're taking a look now at some previous footage pulled from other trailers and little gameplay snippets from the developer, and of course, well, there's a lot more to do than, of course, just the RTS and the city, but also diplomacy around your neighbors. So, of course, doing whatever the king may say or having your neighbors do as you wish with the threat of invasion is very important. Let's jump back now and take a look at some more of the medieval battles and real-time battles going on. It'll be incredible to see some co-op and multiplayer aspects in this game and many others too. I think this is just ingenious how so many developers could learn from these types of indie developers. This is a very small team working on this, So the fact that there's all of these realistic animations, everybody seems to be so independent of each other. They seem to react to each other rather than just on a preset animation. I can't believe this. Every one of these soldiers seems to just kind of act somewhat independently, but also as a unit. For example, the charge against enemy positions, smashing them down. You can see kind of everybody hanging behind. It still looks like a game, but this is amongst one of the best looking games that I've seen. In fact, almost looks as if it were more of a medieval simulator, combat simulator in first person, like Mordau or Chivalry, than it is a real-time strategy game. This is a city builder. You're watching footage of a city builder where the combat looks better in real time than it does in most games. I don't know. That's a lot of love put into a game like this. So it's good to see tight and loose formations, of course, archers and spearmen, and different types of shields and different types of armor, things like, for example, militias, and then more better trained troops. Of course, this is going to cost you much more in terms of your development, but with a few well-armed soldiers, you might be able to take over all your neighbors. And there's your archer modes too. Great to see all sorts of different options. It's going to be a lot to learn. And as you saw there at the top of the screen, there's a lot of different options to take into account too. Yeah, look at that. All of this while you're managing your city. So you're doing real-time strategy while also keeping track of firewood and copper production or steel or whatever else may be going on. And great-looking troops too. Battle damage, blood, and fatigue and everything for all these troops. Looking really incredible. Manor Lords is topping itself for the expectations that we have, and that's a lot of weight on developers' shoulders, but it really incredibly seems like it is just full of love. I'm blown away by not only just the city building aspect, but the attention to detail of the real-time strategy portions, not only in the options in the UI for the player, but also how the soldiers look, react, and how things really feel. In these types of games, you want to be immersed into the combat, into the city building, and you want to be as if, or feel as if you're the one making all the decisions and responsible for both its successes and its failures. And grass is important to that, how trees and roads are built and moved out of the way, and how animals respond, and how the economy works, and the music, and how the wind blows is so important. And again, modular building making, like for example, if you want to make a manor, it's not just placing down a single building. You can actually deliver all the materials to the construction site, expand a building, build it out of stone, or build it out of wood. And there's a lot of unanswered questions too. I've been looking for as much information as I can, and there's still much more to come about this game, so it makes me more excited about what I don't know. Upgrade systems and going down different tech trees to specify if your kingdom wants to produce more wool and linen, or do you want to produce ale and beer and weaponry? What do you want to do? Produce charcoal and be a blacksmith shop or something like that, or a large farming community? All the options can be weighed and changed as you develop your large city. Now, I haven't seen anything in terms of defenses yet in the game, but with all of this, we can only get excited and be hyped about what could possibly come for Manor Lords. If we could build a giant castle and put walls around it and see catapults and trebuchets and cavalry, then that's going to be really impressive. But if all this love is put into infantry, it really makes me excited for what is to come for Manor Lords as well. This is probably the most in-depth look that we've taken at the game too, with some more footage and additional screenshots and extra video footage. And I can't stress enough at how excited I am about games that put a lot of detail into the little details, things like the grass, things like animation of horses and people riding horseback, and it seems like it's almost impossible to do, especially in this day and age, to get all the people together in order to mocap some of those things. Motion capture of people pretending as if they were swinging a sword or shooting arrows is not an easy thing to do. So all of these things put together really makes me excited and combines all the things from other games that I've loved into a game like this. Of course, that is if everything goes according to plan, and with early access and pre-alpha footage available, and with people testing it behind the scenes, I think we might have ourselves a big winner. Seasons are a part of this game too, and as we saw in the battle, that weather will affect your battle, so that's going to be a very interesting thing as to changing when you'll launch your battles. So as I was mentioning before about producing, if you're going to be invaded, you may want to make sure you've harvested all your grain before that big invasion comes. It could be a real bad thing, not only destroying your army if you happen to fight off the attackers as the defenders, such as these militiamen here. A bigger force, maybe you'll be able to defeat it, but could you come back after maybe losing all the people for the grain harvest in that year if they happen to be a peasant who is supposed to be gathering grain or making stuff at the mill and then is having to defend the lands and is killed in battle. So that seems like a very challenging, hardcore, brutal, and realistic game in medieval times. I'm hoping to see now more and more things about the city management itself, and it does seem to mix together really well. Your troops aren't made and trained somewhere else. You can hire mercenaries, and everything is hosted within your city, so it's not that city building is one thing and the RTS is another. They link together. All the people in your city have to be trained, or their training has to be paid for through the city and the work that you do there, and all the trading and such will then fund your war efforts. So this is really making me excited. I've played a few games in the past in terms of maybe like first-person combat simulators based in medieval times, and that got me excited for the aspect of possibly doing it while managing a city. Something like, for example, Crusader Kings getting me very excited, or Bannerlord getting me very excited for the possibility of a game like this. So if this hits hard, if this hits good, it is going to be one of the biggest games that you really never have heard about. Something that possibly could only be done by a AAA developer. But again, I would stress, like we always do on the channel, anytime that somebody has passion and a willpower to do something like this inspired by all other titles, you can't make a game in today's world without playing tons of other games. It's the same as making a YouTube channel. You can't do anything without being inspired by anybody else nowadays. So it's good to see inspiration from all of your other favorite games in sort of a buffet of quality content, hopefully, in this game. Now, what will the price be? Will it be available on console? What will multiplayer be like if and when? What will be available on day one? We're not sure, but definitely going to be a great game in terms of building and destroying, and I can't wait to see building combat, like to see troops rushing a building like your manor, or to see castle walls and gates and more purposes for stones and fortifications, something that was maybe missing from Banished, which was one of the first more hardcore realistic simulators that I played in terms of survival in the medieval times, being very painstakingly cautious about each type of crop that you were planting and each harvest and every person who lived in the city. And this seems like it might be that type of game. Everybody has a name, everybody has a job, a place to live, and roads to travel on to get to those jobs. So speculations are high, but my excitement is high as well. We're going to go back and look at more of the battle features here in just a moment, but I wanted to pull some other footage that I pulled from Twitter long ago that had gotten me more excited about the game. Things like miniature shops and whatnot. Just the battle features alone are a great reason to take a look at this game, but again, attention to detail to all sorts of things such as the economy and trading is going to make it really interesting, and I hope this becomes a game that a lot of people will want to play more than just one time. It seems like there could be a sandbox element to this game that could maybe be expanded upon into a campaign or maybe a story, and it would be really interesting to see mods and that type of thing to add more content, but that's something that I'll have to look into for the future. Mod support and other types of additions, maybe making it more fantasy as well. Plenty of options to make this into a Skyrim type game as well from the community. But again, if you have a developer who's incredibly passionate just like the community, I think we're going to have a real winner. All these troops lined up with their various weapons, all the battle damage that we mentioned before. I don't know, I am tired of looking at trailers and footage and pictures. I want to get my hands on this and start playing now. But again, I think the developer is doing a fantastic job, and I think this is one you're going to really want to keep your eye on, add to your wish list, and keep peeking back at it until it's released, hopefully sometime this year or within the next, and to see what the Steam reviews say, of course. And I'm sure it will be a widely acclaimed game and a triumph for city builders and RTS games. I'll leave you now for one last look at the trailer, just to see it again in comparison to what you may have thought before, and I hope to see you guys soon. Goodbye.